All right, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today, focused on one really rich source. It describes a major community event,
Hmm.
the 35th Annual Educators Breakfast Celebration, hosted by AHED.
Right. And our mission basically is to treat this celebration not just as, a party, but more like a roadmap.
Exactly. We want to pull out the key pillars AHED is highlighting, things like community dedication, leadership, educational service,
Right.
what they see as crucial for, well, the next 35 years.
And what strikes me immediately is the sheer weight behind an event like this, the 35th anniversary, that signals endurance, right? But when it draws the absolute top tier of officials in a place like Miami-Dade, we're talking elected leaders,
Yeah.
academic heads, it really elevates AHED. They go from being just important to arguably critical infrastructure.
That's a strong way to put it. And just so everyone's on the same page, AHED is the Association of Haitian Educators and Professionals. Their whole mission is empowering students, supporting the community through education.
Precisely. So that context makes it clear why this isn't your average professional get-together. The themes mentioned, excellence, unity, service, they're core to that mission.
And the source gives us the specifics. Saturday, November 1st, 2025, Miami-Dade College, North Campus, School of Justice Hall.
Yeah, and that venue choice, School Justice Hall.
Yeah.
It's not just a random conference room, is it?
No, it feels deliberate. It suggests maybe a connection between education, civic life, maybe the rule of law. Sets a serious tone.
I think that's a really sharp observation. It hints at this commitment to civic engagement, which, honestly, is mirrored immediately in who showed up.
Right. Which brings us to maybe our first big takeaway. The incredible level of collaboration AHED seems to have built. Cross-sector authority.
Definitely. You start with the official welcome from AHED President Marie Viard, but then look who else is sharing the stage.
Yeah, Councilwoman Mary Estime Irvin, that's local government, and Dr. Malusi Harrison, EVP and Provost of Miami-Dade College, that's major higher ed leadership.
That's already a powerful mix, municipal and academic power coming together.
It is. But, the listener might be thinking, okay, lots of officials, nice photos, but why does it really matter that they're all there?
That's the critical question, isn't it? It's not just about appearances. When you see Superintendent Dr. Jose Dotres and School Board member Stephen Gallen sharing greetings,
Yeah.
well, that signals direct linkage.
Linkage to the K-12 system.
Exactly. And then you add in a message from the county mayor, Daniela Levine Cava. What does that do for AHED day to day?
Okay, so what's the tangible benefit? What does this level of buy-in actually achieve?
Well, I think it's two main things. First, resource alignment. It means AHED's priorities aren't just floating out there in isolation. They're likely part of bigger strategic talks within the district, within county government.
Okay, so they have a seat at the table, essentially.
Pretty much. And second, it gives them immediate institutional legitimacy. So if AHED pushes for, say, a policy change or maybe more mental health support in schools, they're not just asking from the outside.
They're speaking from a position of recognized authority, backed by the people holding the purse strings and making the policies.
Precisely. That political and academic buy-in,
Yeah.
it's a huge indicator of their real-world impact across Miami-Dade.
That completely reframes the event, doesn't it? It wasn't just a celebration. It was like a demonstration of integrated influence.
A declaration, almost. And they moved pretty quickly from the formal welcomes handled smoothly by the mistresses of ceremony, Roldi's Desire and Nadege, the source notes,
Right, they kicked things off.
into the real meat of the discussion,
Yeah.
the intellectual substance.
And it seems like they structured that very intentionally. Keynote first, setting a philosophical tone.
Yeah, the big ideas. And then straight into a panel, a fireside chat. They got into the practical realities facing educators today.
Let's start with that foundation then. Senator Chevron Jones, keynote speaker. Themes: leadership, resilience, transformative power of education.
And when you hear those specific words, leadership, resilience, transformation in 2025 at an educator's event, you have to think they're speaking directly to the immense pressures.
Post-pandemic learning gaps, socioeconomic stress on families, burnout.
All of it. Resilience isn't just a nice-to-have soft skill anymore. It's essential. And by featuring Senator Jones, who himself was honored there for public service.
Connecting the dots. Educational success linked to civic engagement, resilient leadership.
Exactly. AHED is basically saying, we need strong leaders who can handle the pressure. It sets a high bar.
Makes sense. But then the focus shifted. In this fireside chat, you flagged this as maybe the most important analytical piece in the source.
I think it could be. because it wasn't about the usual stuff, test scores, school budgets, curriculum debates.
No. This chat featured Dr. Gerda Nicholas and attorney Michael's Deborah Saintville, and their topics were very specific: mental health, advocacy, and community engagement.
Right. This is where I think we see AHED really trying to redefine the educator's role for the modern era, 21st century.
So why those specific topics? Why push aside, teaching strategies or salary talk and put mental health front and center?
Well, the takeaway for me is that AHED is signaling that success in education today, it's not just about academic results. It's deeply tied to the educator's ability to manage the holistic well-being of their students, mental, social health.
So recognizing that kids can't learn effectively if their basic needs aren't met, including emotional needs.
Precisely. They're acknowledging that reality. And the advocacy piece, that's about equipping educators to actually fight for those needs, whether it's talking to administrators or engaging the wider community.
Okay, I mean, that sounds vital in theory, but what are the practical implications? Putting mental health at the core of an educator summit, doesn't that risk overwhelming teachers who are already stretched incredibly thin?
That's the immediate question. Absolutely. It's a valid concern. But maybe by hosting this discussion, AHED is actually trying to bring the issue into the light, make it okay to talk about.
So, signaling that it's now a core competency, understanding these issues.
Yes, but not necessarily that teachers have to solve it all alone. By bringing in experts like Dr. Nicholas and attorney Saintville, they're not saying, teachers, you now need to be therapists. They're saying, teachers, these are the critical issues impacting your students. And look, here are the community advocates, the mental health professionals you need to partner with. It shifts the focus.
From solitary work to collaborative support.
Exactly. Integrated support. It connects the classroom to the student's life outside, viewing education as fundamentally a community effort.
A holistic view is required. If you want transformation, you need to address the emotional and social stuff first.
That seems to be the message. Address the environment.
So that fireside chat points to the future, but this was a 35th anniversary. You can't just look forward, right? How did they connect back to their origins? How did they build this foundation?
That's crucial, isn't it? For sustaining influence over 35 years, you have to honor the vision that got you there. And the source says AHED was very deliberate about this.
Celebrating their legacy.
Yes, recognizing past presidents, honoring their vision, their service. Leaders like Leslie Prudent, Gary Florestal, Gepsi Metellus were named.
And why is that important symbolically? For the listener, what does honoring founders achieve?
Well, it anchors the organization. It makes sure that even as AHED adapts to new challenges like this shift to holistic education we just talked about, it doesn't lose sight of its original mission, empowering the Haitian community through education. It ensures continuity, institutional memory.
Got it. And alongside honoring the past, they celebrated current success too, across the whole system.
Yeah, the range of honorees this year was interesting. Not just principals and teachers, the usual suspects, but also parents, community advocates.
Why is recognizing parents and advocates alongside school staff significant? What's the strategic value there?
It's a powerful move, I think. It decentralizes the idea of where student success comes from. It explicitly says success isn't just made inside the school building.
Right.
It relies heavily on the unpaid, often invisible, work of families and community groups. By publicly valuing that, AHED reinforces the collaborative effort needed. It builds broader buy-in.
It's building that village structure we talked about, making sure all the parts feel seen and valued.
Precisely. And then they capped it off by weaving in cultural enrichment. This wasn't just, a dry business meeting.
No, the source mentions vibrant student performances, and specifically a musical interlude, harpists from the Maestro Rolny Diverni Scholarship Program.
And that small detail, it almost perfectly encapsulates AHED's whole approach, doesn't it?
How so?
The performance wasn't just background music, it was a demonstration of a concrete investment. This scholarship program directly links financial aid for education with supporting the arts, cultural enrichment.
So it confirms their commitment isn't just about academics or jobs.
Right. It's about developing the whole person,
Yeah.
celebrating cultural heritage alongside everything else.
Okay, so wrapping this up. Looking back at this 35th Educators Breakfast, we see these three interlocking themes emerging from the source. First, there's the sheer authority shown by having all those political and academic leaders present, real collaborative power.
Definitely.
Second, this clear strategic shift. redefining educator success around a more holistic, community-focused model that includes mental health and advocacy.
Yep, the forward-looking piece.
And third, grounding all of that by honoring their legacy and celebrating a broad, integrated community commitment from past presidents to current parents.
That captures it well.
Yeah.
It shows an organization that really understands power comes from collaboration, from looking both backward and forward, and from seeing the whole picture.
It feels like a very intentional statement about AHED's enduring relevance and maybe its future direction.
I think so. But here's something to maybe leave you, the listener, thinking about. A final provocative thought based on what we've discussed from this source.
Okay.
We saw this huge celebration of dedication to student success, right? Honoring teachers, principals, the people we traditionally think of as providing education.
Yeah, the core group.
But at the same time, the central discussion, that key fireside chat, focused almost entirely on mental health and community advocacy, issues slightly outside pure pedagogy.
Right.
So the question is, how much of that celebrated dedication from the honorees, the principals, the teachers, do you think is now implicitly tied to their ability to handle those other things? The mental health awareness, the community engagement, the advocacy. Is success as an educator today less about just pedagogical skill and more about proficiency in this broader, holistic approach?
You're asking if the definition of a good educator celebrated at the event has fundamentally shifted to include these wider responsibilities.
It seems the event strongly suggests that, doesn't it? That the holistic view isn't just an add-on anymore. It might be the essential measure now, something to consider.